Guys, with the national championship just a few days away, we have not addressed the head coaching matchup yet. Marcus Freeman versus Ryan Day. Dustin, if it was up to you, which edge or which side do you give the edge to in the head coaching matchup in the national championship?
Ooh, that's a good question. So I guess I need some more details to your question. Like, do we give the edge in terms of X's and O's? Are we talking about leadership? Are we talking about who's going to keep their team cool, calm, collected? Like, there's a lot of different aspects.
Who do you want as the coach of your team in this game?
Yeah, that's the way I would phrase it.
I think you'd be crazy to not say Ryan Day.
I agree.
You know,
yeah. 5 years from now, I think it's going to be Marcus Freeman.
It could be.
But today, I think it's Ryan Day.
Today, I think it's Ryan.
Why do you say
Day.
Ryan right now? Just because of the games that he's been in?
Well, just look what they've done in the playoffs. Yep. This year, and take away the Michigan game because it is what it is. It sucked, and we got to live with that. But it's not going to preclude the Buckeyes from being a national champion on Monday evening when this thing goes down. So I would take Ryan Day. I think he's a really bright offensive mind. He's got the best players. He's got the best coaches. Like, there's really no reason why Ohio State should lose this game. There really isn't. Right. Notre Dame, and this is not to denigrate that program. They've done a great job. Marcus has done a phenomenal job. He has delegated his power. He's a hell of a leader. They've got the right pieces in there. I expect it to be competitive for 3.5 quarters.
Does it scare you that everybody says what you're saying right now? Because it does me a little bit. So often,
Hell yeah, it does.
When
because
everybody
we said
is
that
going
about Michigan this
year.
year.
That's exactly right. It almost feels like there is a hint of that. And this game is obviously bigger than the Michigan game.
Let me ask you all this question. If you switch coaches, just coaches, no coordinators, no players, just coaches, who would win?
If you switch coordinators.
I think Ohio State would
coaches.
win. I think Ohio State would win with Marcus Freeman as their head coach.
That's what I'm saying.
I think Ohio State could win the game if
without the coaches. Yeah, I agree. The coordinators, let's face it, the coordinators are the guys.
Yeah. And by the way,
Kelly's,
those coaches and recruiting coordinators, they got those players.
Sure.
So it's not to say that because part of the coaching job is to recruit. Like, it's probably like 70% of it actually, because you got to get the skilled players in the building, and they do have those guys. So I think that the guys could literally go out there and, maybe I'm being a little tongue-in-cheek, but like pretty much draw it up in the dirt.
Or just have the coordinators call their number and run the plays.
These guys play enough. They know how to call plays.
It's telling to me, I don't know if you guys saw the video, the ISO shot of Jack Sawyer, the camera that stayed on him the entire time. The play started all the way. And this was telling to me, I thought, these guys love Ryan Day.
Oh, yeah, I know they love him.
Absolutely love Ryan Day.
He's a hell of a coach. He's a hell of a guy.
And I think they galvanized after the Michigan loss. And I think a lot of that, Dustin, you would know better than me, I think a lot of that was the team got sick of hearing the chatter from the media and the fans about it's all the coach's fault. And I think they kind of rallied around him, and it galvanized them and made them closer and stronger. And we're seeing that in each progressive step that they've taken in the national championship.
These guys knew if they didn't put their stones on the line and go out there and ball out for their coach, they were not going to have that coach.
He was going to be gone.
Yeah. And those guys, I've seen this in the league too, because like coaches in the NFL are fired way quicker than college. Guys play harder for guys they like. And because, again, if that guy is responsible for you having your scholarship and you having success to go to the next level, like, you want that guy to be in place. You don't want some other Tom, Dick, and Harry to come in there and take over the job. He may not even like you.
It's the devil you don't know.
Hey, we found out the hard way. You be like, oh, I don't like this coach. Man, them regime ships, and man, they change and you can be in and out.
I didn't like Mike Tice because of some things that happened my rookie year, and all of a sudden Brad Childress comes in and he was 10 times worse.
He's like, oh, you thought you knew the guy. I think too, let's be honest, that senior class owed it, and they ain't never beat Michigan.
No,
they 0-4, and you've had Rolls Royces on that field. I ain't even got to go down the list of receivers.
There aren't many classes at Ohio State that are winless against Michigan.
And you guys, they underachieved. Let's be honest. They underachieved, and they had to look in the mirror. Like, when you go ask scouts about Ohio State, they're like, yo, these guys could have 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 guys drafted. And we talking about 6 or 7 in the first 2 rounds. And when you get in that draft analysis, that means you got the talent. It's there. It's pro ready. But what are you guys doing? You're not maximizing. You're not making plays, and it can't be all on Ryan Day. I think now that you see this team, now I will give Marcus Freeman some credit. Marcus Freeman don't have the athletes that Ohio State has.
I think I saw a thing from On3. It's like a college website, recruiting website, that Ohio State has 10 5-stars on their roster, and Notre Dame has 0.
Wow. That is correct. I saw the same thing.
Because they got a bunch of tryhards.
They got a lot of 4-stars.
They are trying. These guys are guys that really ain't in the top of, the top 100, but they play hard. They play well in the trenches. They're physical. I like the way that he galvanizes them, and they just play scrappy football. If Ohio State can get up 10 points, I think it's hard for them to come back because they just don't have.
Well, they don't throw the ball.
They don't throw the ball.
And so any running team.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is the game plan, Dustin. If you put your foot on their throat in the first quarter, if it's 3-0 Buckeyes after the first quarter, I think this is playing out just like the Michigan game, and it's right where Notre Dame wants it.
It's going to be a long game.
You need 2 touchdowns on the first 2 possessions. You need for them to be looking up at the board going, I don't know where those 15 points are coming from.
And it don't got to. It could be 10. It could be 13. You just need them to say, I need multiple scores and multiple stops to get in this game. And when you got the firepower, all it takes is one missed tackle. Jeremiah Smith scores. They got 2 running backs who can do it. And if Will Howard does not need to be 3rd and 9.
He doesn't need to be throwing between 4 defenders.
Right.
Like
exactly.
I mean, he got away with a lot.
He got away, but he put some on lines.
He did.
He was throwing dots.
But I
was in his bag. I'll give him that. But he was very close to
I
not
don't
being
like
in his bag.
those throws. They're too risky. Why would you take
risky.
those throws with the talent they have?
I think if
agree.
you can get him comfortable where he don't got to win the game for you in the fourth quarter, Ohio State should roll.
You know what's nuts? I can't remember exactly what the numbers were. Mike, maybe you can find this stat. I think I read somewhere where between Oregon and Texas, the Ducks and the Longhorns had like 53 yards on 58 carries against this Ohio State defense.
Sounds about right.
Here's the problem with that if you're Notre Dame. You run the ball.
Yeah, and the running back has got a banged up knee.
And he's not healthy. So, I mean,
and their tackle is banged up too.
So they're limited.
Their lineman is out. They've got a lineman
out.
out.
So their second best rusher is their quarterback.
Yes,
who's got like 100 touchdowns. So if you know that you can sort of take away Love or not to put the emphasis on his ability because you know he's limited. Mm-hmm. By the way, though, that was the most amazing touchdown run ever.
That was great.
Against Penn State.
That was unbelievable.
Hey, that was not a losing effort on that run.
No,
he was not a quitter. He was not a quitter, Jay.
No, you're right. He was not.
But with that being said, you're going to be able to focus more on Leonard and pressuring him. And I do think if Ohio State gets after his ass early, Mark D'Antoni used to say it all the time, you must affect the quarterback early. Get in his head, and if they do that, we're going to get a couple of turnovers. And the game could be a wrap in the first half, not a 3-quarter, 4-quarter game.
Is it my memory, or outside of this year's run, it feels to me like when Notre Dame has had the national spotlight the last couple of times, they were embarrassed. They weren't just they
we all remember that Alabama game.
That was the one that really comes to mind. I mean, the game was in the first quarter, and I thought, wow, all this anticipation, and this is what we're going to get. To me, it feels like when they've hit the national stage, even going back to when Brian Kelly was there, they get in those situations and they almost always disappoint.
They broke the Manti Te'o story on national champion.
Oh, my God.
I felt sorry for that man. He got twice. Oh, man, they came out there and Alabama did them dirty. He fell all the way out this first. Didn't he fall out the first round?
I think San Diego took him
second round.
Was it second?
This guy was up for the Heisman as a linebacker, and they said, nah.
Did you guys see the documentary on him?
Yeah.
Best documentary I've seen.
I think he's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's a great analyst.
Solid.
I love watching him right now on NFL Network.
I think that guy's just a winner of life, man.
I do too.
I feel bad for the situation.
Yeah, because that's a situation.
At the end of the day, it's more embarrassing than anything else.
That's it.
And then he's got to deal with that.
I
would just lean into it
that
and make fun of
situation was one that, and I was surprised he did the interview with the documentary because, I think I would move to northern Idaho and I would never be seen or heard from again.
Yeah.
I would be that humiliated. Bro, you got duped in front of the world.
Well, guess what? He was the first catfish. He won't be the last one.
No, he won't be the last one. But he made the term catfish.
I'm sorry. I know we got to move topics here. Just one final thing on this. How does anybody get catfish when you got FaceTime? Or you can go meet someone.
You know what? I think he was incredibly naive.
It's easy. It's easier done than people would think. At some point, you got to be like, listen, if I ain't see
I'm
you,
gonna have to see you.
I gotta see you, bro. And
Put up a show up.
Yeah. Stop playing these games.
Yeah, I need to
But-
feel the skin.
Yeah,
okay?
like let
Now,
me see. Let me
when,
see.
when
We
the
good?
dude that got him, okay, when the dude that got him, this is when I was like, okay, I get it now. He went on, I think it was the Maury Povich show or Dr. Phil. I think it was Dr. Phil.
It didn't sound like a man.
He went into a sound room.
Yeah. I
And-
know, my bad.
Put that.
No, Mikey's talking to me. He's like, you just did this.
Look what
No,
you did.
no.
He put that. It sounds like a full blown hot girl.
It was a female.
All right, your
It
last
was.
10 seconds on Manti Te'o.
I think that he is a winner. I love the guy. I've been rooting for him since the day the media ruined
Can we
it.
get him on the show?
I think he's a
We
great
could try.
guy.
He's doing a great job on NFL Network.
I love
Does a
him on
good job
NFL
breaking
Network.
stuff
I think
down,
he's
so.
really, he's got a lot of confidence, which I think you have to have if you're going to be good at this. I think he's got a lot of confidence, which is incredible to me because at one point he probably thought about moving to Idaho and never showing his face again.
Right.